Well, good evening, America. It is 7 p.m. Thursday, September 10th, and this is Queer News Tonight, the world's first live LGBTQ daily evening news. It's time to queer up the news.
Watch as we bring you these and other stories from LGBTQ headlines. LGBTQ inclusive curriculum laws take effect in New Jersey and Illinois, and if Jane Fonda can correctly use pronouns, so can you.
New York transgender inmate's family to receive record settlement for her death, and Kevin Spacey has been sued for alleged sexual assault of two teenagers in the 1980s.
A 2,000-person march has taken place led by Drag Queens Against Hate on the German-Polish border, and in an hour, Thursday, 8 p.m., Gay Town Hall will bring you the most diverse LGBTQ cast in history, discussing all of the biggest stories of the week. But first, before we launch tonight's news, we want to take a moment to recognize the 19th anniversary of tomorrow's Twin Towers, Pennsylvania, and Pentagon attacks of 9/11. We remember 9/11 in our 19th anniversary. We're showing you a little bit about it beginning at 8:46 a.m. Very fundamentally important to me because I worked in the travel business and had literally hundreds and hundreds of guests all over the planet. And it was a moment that I did not think we were going to recover from. And 19 years later, sitting here on the anniversary of 9/11, I look back and think, my goodness, we've had 80 9/11s in the last 4 months. So it's a fresh reminder of what we experienced on that morning on September 11th, 2001.
Yeah, I was sleeping that morning and got a call from my mother and turned on NPR and listened to the news and decided I couldn't watch it right away. It took me probably 2 or 3 weeks to even see the video footage, and it's still really, really difficult to see.
Yeah, I remember when I woke up that morning, actually a friend of mine called me up and said, have you watched the news? And we were actually just talking about the last attack that had been done on the Twin Towers, just out of a conversation, and to actually wake up and see that was kind of horrible. A friend of mine's daughter actually worked in the towers, but she overslept and didn't make it into work, and her mother was really upset, but at least a good thing came out of oversleeping.
In the world that we're living in today, especially in the LGBTQ community, we take just a moment to express a heartfelt thank you. 9/11, 19 years ago, was led by and creation of the importance of first responders. 19 years later, never has the word first responders been more important to us because of COVID-19. And so everyone at Queer News Tonight and Happening Out Television Network and the entire LGBTQ community say thank you. And we remember our first responders on 9/11, and we remember all of our first responders in 2020 that are responding to the pandemic of the last century. And that includes not only our healthcare workers, but all of the people that are making and trying to desperately hold our society together. We thank you, and we remember 9/11, and we remember what we've experienced in 2020, both
Definitely.
converging together for 9/11 of 2020. So good evening again, America. It is 7 p.m. Thursday, September 10th, 2020, and it is time to queer up the news. We are literally out of the closet. John, we're out of the closet here tonight and into the headlines. So many of your stories we are going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight. Tonight on the world's first live daily queer evening news show.
Tonight's news about the gay community and the news from an LGBTQ perspective. Are our gay stories important to you? in headlines, politics, entertainment, gay culture, travel, religion, and more. Reported by respected anchors.
Out of the closet and into the headlines on Q News Tonight. Well, thank you for joining Queer News Tonight. We are a live, this is an unedited evening news show. So because it's unedited, you get to see everything and anything can happen. And with John here as a guest tonight and Ty here, oh Lord, what we're probably getting ready to see. So it should be fun. This evening, we bring you the news of and a perspective from the LGBTQ community. I'm your anchor, Al Ferguson, and these are my co-guest anchors, Dr. I'm contractually required to say that,
That's
Ty
correct.
Hauser.
That's correct. Thank you.
Good evening, Ty.
Hi, Al.
And we're getting ready to do Gay Town Hall. That's
Yes, looking
fun.
forward to that.
Yeah. And we have a special guest host tonight with us, and this is John Romano. And John Romano represents the Wilton Manors Facebook group. Mm-hmm. It is one of the largest Facebook groups here on what we joke is the gayest place on planet Earth. And we have John here tonight, and we're promoting the Wilton Manors Facebook group because we believe that going forward, we need to do more in supporting our LGBTQ community beyond our bars and beyond our events. And Facebook groups is just one of those examples. So good evening, John. Tell us a little bit about your group. What do you do for your group?
Basically, the group is a way for people to communicate with each other, get some like snippets of what's going on in the community. Even if you want to find a restaurant or whatever that's out there in the community. So it just brings everybody together a little bit more.
Yeah, and it's quite a large group. If we represent the Wilton Manors Group America to say and suggest there's probably groups like this in your community and all over the nation and internationally, and you should get involved in them because the Wilton Manors Facebook group is an example, moderated and hosted by John, to be able to propel businesses and events and charity activities and your prides. It's a real central core source of the LGBTQ community. And this is the first time in 2020 where we've taken the opportunity to say our pride and our LGBTQ communities fall in unique and different ways. And one of them is an example of our Wilton Manors group. So John, welcome to Queer News Tonight. We're glad you're here.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
So let's queer up the news. Tonight we begin with queer headlines. The LGBTQ community in America is certainly diverse. The LGBTQ community around the world is vast, and we will bring you the bullet points of queer news for today, Thursday, September 10th, 2020. We begin by queering up Vote 2020. In reporting, after the Woodward Tapes, Trump can do anything and his base seems to accept it. Wow, watch this.
I wanted to hear what you had to say. But the bottom line is, he told Bob Woodward privately that this was a deadly virus and that it was airborne. Didn't the public, didn't the citizens in your home state of Louisiana deserve to know that as well so that they could change their behavior appropriately to protect themselves?
Well, number one, Pamela, I'm not going to repeat what I just said, but all I can tell you is what my personal experience has been. Number two, let me say a word about this infatuation in Washington with who said what to whom. I learned pretty quickly up here.
No, Senator, I'm sorry. I'm not going to let you do this. Okay, this is, I understand there's so much politics right now. We're 2 months away from an election, but this is life and death. You had 5,000 people that have died in Louisiana from coronavirus. Republicans are reluctant, as you are now, to ever criticize this president. But as a human being, how can you be okay with this?
Well, if I could finish my answer. I have learned in Washington, D.C., I'm sort of existential or Sartrean about Washington, D.C. To be is to act. You learn pretty quickly not to judge people up here by what they say. You have to judge them by what they do. And all I can tell you, Pamela, is what my personal experience has been.
A sitting United States senator has gone on the record as simply not caring about the fact that Donald Trump blatantly lied to the American public. That short clip that we just showed you went on for 9 minutes. That no matter what happens, there is always a way to spin it so that President Trump does no wrong. And Republicans see their leaders do this and are emboldened to follow in their footsteps. For months, Trump has banged the drum that China was downplaying this virus and vilified them for not sharing information with the United States, when, in fact, the Woodward tape proved they had done so in early February, and Trump chose to not share that publicly. It is the ultimate form of projection, once again from the president. China wasn't covering up the facts. It turns out our president was, and senators and voters alike from his party seem to just not care, and will refuse to care as long as they can claim a victory over somebody, anybody.
I just think it's disgraceful. I mean, our president's job, and this isn't from any kind of a party affiliation, I'm more of an independent, so I can see positives and negatives of both sides, but the president's job is to protect the people and to warn us about these kinds of things, not keep them secret.
I mean, are we really surprised at all? He's been keeping secrets. He's been lying to us the whole time. That's why people still believe him, because they still believe the lies. And I don't know how you change that, because there's a power dynamic there that just doesn't break down unless people start to question it.
Yesterday was a dramatic day in American history. The Woodward Tapes showed the president knew on February 7th, at least by February 7th, that the virus was transmitted by air, and therefore you needed a mask. He rejected that. He also knew that the virus was deadly, 5 times more deadly than the flu, which he has rejected over and over for the next 2 months after admitting that to Bob Woodward. And what we watched last night is a U.S. Republican senator from Louisiana, Senator John Kennedy, talk a playbook of saying, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, and he repeated that consistently for 9 minutes. The president can get away with anyone or anything in the core base, and that's what we'll be voting on for November 3rd, 2020.
Let's queer up entertainment. Netflix's Away blasts off with an intergalactic lesbian love affair. In Netflix's new sci-fi series Away, Hilary Swank leads the first manned mission to Mars. The ship's small crew includes members from different countries like Russia, the UK, and China, which is represented by Lou, the ship's geologist and chemist. Lou is married with a young son, but in the series' 3rd episode, viewers learn that she is having an affair with Mei Chen, the capsule communication, aka the astronaut on Earth, who communicates with the crew in space. We don't know if this love affair will last all the way to Mars, but we're interested in finding out.
To infinity and beyond. I don't know. Mars, do we really want to go there? I have a couple of politicians I'd like to send.
The series is fantastic. I binge watched it in 4 days. It's 10 episodes. The story is just incredible. Hilary Swank is going to be nominated for an Emmy Award for it. It's amazing. I highly recommend you watch it. And the LGBT storyline is really quite incredible because it provides real world today integration of the story because of what goes on in China and China's rejection of LGBT, even with somebody at her level as an astronaut, and the love story with a son involved and a husband involved is beautiful. And I'll admit it, I've cried multiple times on the lesbian story. Yeah.
I think it's a good thing. I mean, we see all these sci-fi shows or movies and stuff. Star Trek never really had much of a storyline with it. Star Wars started to kind of hint at it in the sequels, but then I think they got shy and said, no, we can't go there. So to have Netflix do it, I think is just fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, for what it's worth, Al gave it a ringing endorsement. I don't know that it changes my mind. Next, we'll queer up the world. For Beirut's gay community, chemical blasts shattered a safe space. The incident, one of the largest non-nuclear explosions in history, killed more than 180 people, injured 6,000, and badly damaged the two major gay districts famous for their centuries-old homes, art galleries, bars, restaurants, and clubs. In those districts, many LGBTQ people found tolerance and safety in a region not known for queer acceptance. Frias Nablusi, a 23-year-old drag queen and bartender living in Beirut, said that going to the area he loves so much and seeing it in ruins broke him inside, a sentiment echoed by many locals following the blast.
Next, let's queer up gay culture in reporting Chicago's decades-old LGBTQ newspaper ends print issuing a warning for all gay print media. After 35 years, Chicago's LGBTQ publication, Windy City Times, will cease print publication and go completely digital as a result of decreased revenue amid the pandemic, according to a statement on its website. The paper's co-founder and majority owner, Tracy Baim, called the move to end the newspaper's print production painful. The transition will be swift, and the September 30 issue of the paper, which is set as a commemorative edition that celebrates the publication's 35th anniversary, will be the last before moving entirely online.
Let's queer up the news of the USA. The LGBTQ inclusive curriculum laws take effect in New Jersey and Illinois. Watch this.
12 school districts in New Jersey have begun a pilot program for LGBTQ studies in the curriculum that was approved by the legislature last year. One of those districts is Pinelands Regional in Ocean County, and dozens of parents and community members went to the high school Wednesday night to hear about the curriculum from Superintendent Melissa McCooley. In a statement to Chasing News, McCooley said in part, quote, "This is not about sex or sex education. Groups that have been purposely ignored or left out of our curriculum will now be incorporated. Regardless if this is a mandate or not, nothing precludes our teachers from including all groups of people in their lessons."
New Jersey and Illinois' LGBTQ inclusive curriculum laws go into effect this academic year. Illinois' inclusion curriculum law that Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker signed last year into being implemented this school year. Equality Illinois, a statewide LGBTQ advocacy group, is among the organizations that support the law. New Jersey and Illinois join California, Colorado, and Oregon in requiring LGBTQ inclusive curriculum content.
Next, we'll queer up the USA. Kevin Spacey sued for alleged sexual assault of two teenagers in the 1980s. Actor Anthony Rapp and another man filed a lawsuit on Wednesday against Kevin Spacey, accusing him of sexual assaults in the 1980s when they were both teenagers. Rapp, who starred in Rent on Broadway and in Star Trek Discovery on television, had first spoken out against the Oscar-winning Spacey in 2017, a decision that led to others speaking up and Spacey's celebrated career coming to an abrupt end.
Next, we queer up the USA and reporting New York transgendered inmate's family will receive a record settlement for her death. Laylene Polanco, 27, a Black Hispanic trans woman, died of an epileptic seizure during solitary confinement at Rikers Island Jail in June of 2019, and her family sued the city for reckless indifference. The family recently has settled a lawsuit with the city for $5.9 million. In a report issued earlier this year, a city oversight agency said jail staff failed to check on Polanco regularly enough while she was in solitary confinement.
Now let's queer up entertainment. Author creates new kids coloring book featuring LGBTQ families. Children's author and psychotherapist Mark Lowen has just released a new coloring book for children, which features and celebrates LGBTQ families. The book features pictures for kids to color of LGBTQ families just doing normal family activities like celebrating the child's birthday or going for a day out. Mark hopes that the book will educate people after his daughter came home from school one day saying that some of the children or some of the other children had questions about their families.
Next, we'll queer up gay culture. If Jane Fonda can correctly use pronouns, so can you. Famed actress, activist, and longtime LGBTQ ally Jane Fonda is showing that it's never too late to learn a new pronoun. In a recent interview with the New York Times, the 82-year young American icon revealed she's learning by giving her own pronouns. She is giving a voice to those who can't speak for themselves, saying that celebrities often aren't the origin of these messages, but their reach is important to the changing how society thinks about these subjects.
Next, we queer up the world. A 2,000-person march led by drag queens against hate on the German-Polish border. Concerned residents living on the border of Germany and Poland marched together in a demonstration of solidarity with Poland's LGBTQ community. With drag queens leading the way, an estimated 2,000 demonstrators marched symbolically over the bridge over the river order, which separates Frankfurt in Germany from a Polish town in Słubice to the east. Poland is currently suffering under the harsh homophobic regime of President Duda, which views LGBTQ rights as an insidious foreign ideology, as we've previously covered many times here on Queer News Tonight.
Now let's queer up entertainment. Brokeback Mountain writers reunite for new film about bullied gay teen who tragically died by suicide. Good Joe Bell sees Brokeback Mountain scribes Larry McMurtry and Diana Ossana, who transformed Annie Proulx's novel into the Oscar-winning classic starring Heath Ledger and Jake Gyllenhaal, are set to make their joint return to LGBTQ cinema within the upcoming drama.
Next tonight, let's catch up on all the news surrounding COVID-19 with our segment we call Quarantine Quickies. The first story tonight is our daily reporting of coronavirus facts, especially important to the LGBTQ community. First, we report on coronavirus case numbers. Based on the standard acceptance of LGBTQ population, the world's LGBTQ COVID-19 cases stand at 1,975,326, while America's LGBTQ COVID-19 cases stand at an incredible 459,250. We remind you that America is ground zero of this pandemic and that the USA is just 4.4% of the world's population, but today America is 23.2% of all of the world's cases. Next, we report on coronavirus deaths. The world's LGBTQ COVID-19 deaths stand now at 63,784, while America's LGBTQ COVID-19 deaths stand at 13,704. The USA is 21.4% of all of the world's deaths.
Wow. Quarantine Quickie. So Woodward criticized for not releasing COVID-19. Watch this.
The journalist who taped Mr. Trump's remarks back in February is also being criticized for withholding important information from the public. Mr. Trump had admitted to Bob Woodward that the virus was extremely dangerous. Critics now accuse Mr. Woodward of prioritizing book sales over public health. But he says that he needed time to be sure that the president's comments were accurate.
Many are questioning if Bob Woodward had a moral obligation to come out with his knowledge about Trump's belief on the deadliness of COVID-19 before he actually did so in the second week of September. Some, however, are calling this false dichotomy, as without Woodward's journalism, the American public may have never found out about this at all. The question of September or never, rather than one being presented as March or September. A Twitter debate over ethics in journalism, even the ethics of one of the country's most famous journalists, is likely to peter out against the more pressing concerns about the president's own behavior.
Yeah, I understand the idea that, Woodward had this information and he sat on it, and I don't really know how to handle it. I think he's okay because in my mind, he's working on a book and probably has a gag order from the publisher. So he's using his journalistic skills to get the information, but ultimately he's not there to report as a journalist. He's there as an agent of the publisher. So either way, Trump lied. He knows he lied.
I also have a problem with this argument that has floated today on Bob Woodward. He's arguably the most respected journalist in the world. I mean, from Watergate on. It's disappointing to me that many people are arguing to misdirect our focus on the president by saying that Bob Woodward should have been a whistleblower. And that's really what the core of the argument is here, is that from his February 7 tape and the other tapes that are going to come out in the next week before this book debuts, he should have been a whistleblower to say all of this. And that was not his role in preparing this book. And he did not have a requirement to be a whistleblower. And even if that argument were true, we have thousands of whistleblowers that President Trump basically threatens the death penalty on. And we're going to focus on Bob Woodward only to misdirect the actions and the deeds of the President of the United States. Well, we are going to continue with Quarantine Quickies.
Absolutely. Quarantine Quickies. Jillian Michaels caught COVID-19 and warns people to avoid gyms. Fitness guru Jillian Michaels, well known for her tough talk in coaching contestants on The Biggest Loser, revealed Tuesday that she contracted the coronavirus because she, quote, let her guard down for an hour. Continuing, she says, if you are afraid of COVID, you should not go to the gym. Also, she says, I actually am a person who let my guard down. I haven't even spoken about this publicly, really, and a very close friend of mine gave me COVID several weeks ago. She hopes by speaking out that she can keep people safe who may think a workout is more important than adhering to safety precautions.
Well, I know Ty and I are both very excited that Jillian gives us the cover to not go to the gym.
I'm waiting for the sauna to open.
Oh, all right. Your joke was better than mine. Quarantine Quickies. An elementary school gave students gendered face masks, and they weren't having it. This is an interesting story. Professor Catherine LaBelle tweeted a picture of the face mask that her 8-year-old daughter was given last week, saying that the kid was irritated that they were given girls' masks and boys' masks. LaBelle lives in Calgary, Canada, and she said that her daughter called the mask stupid, but the child was not hugely upset, just annoyed that they were asked to be a girl or a boy. Entertainment, in our next story tonight, is important for our LGBTQ community. Through representation on screen, we are better able to understand ourselves and feel appreciated for who we are and how we live our lives. So tonight, we present a photo essay of the top 10 LGBTQ TV characters created by our staff. If you disagree, feel free to leave a comment on the video letting us know what you disagree with us on. Watch this.
Top 10 LGBTQ TV characters. Presented by Queer News Tonight. Cameron Tucker. Modern Family. Ellen Morgan. Ellen. Captain Jack Harkness. Doctor Who. Kurt Hummel. Glee. Lena Winters. American Horror Story. Rael Collar. Motherland, Fort Salem. Runley Baratheon. Game of Thrones. Theo Putnam. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. Titus Andromedon. Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Will Truman. Will and Grace. Top 10 LGBTQ TV characters. Presented by Queer News Tonight.
Happening Out Television Network is also broadcasting on our brand new set in partnership with the Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale, Wilton Manors. You hear it over and over again. We joke, the gayest place on planet Earth, and John and Ty help me illustrate that point. Our support of their Sunday celebration is the largest LGBTQ religious broadcast in the world, every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, completely live. We encourage you to tune in. Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church. Watch this.
Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, Minister of Connections. Sunshine Cathedral is my queer church.
We'd also like to thank our set designer, Concepto Modern Living, here in Fort Lauderdale, for making this set in this amazing queer church campus possible. Well, we're going to end tonight's Queer News Tonight with the big finish. These are short story mentions of LGBTQ news or news with a gay perspective. So here we go, first on Queer News Tonight's The Big Finish. Well, Joe Exotic's back, and Joe Exotic's legal team to hand deliver a plea for a presidential pardon from fellow reality star Donald Trump.
All I can say is he better get one from Donald before Donald's going to need one for himself.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. If he waits long enough, Donald will be his neighbor. They can pass notes back and forth all they want.
Right. Finally, we have solved the issue of mail fraud. Just be an infamous criminal and get it hand-delivered to the president. He knows a lot about criminals, a tremendous amount about criminals. He knows a lot about criminals and is associated with a lot of them. Am I talking about Joe Exotic or, well, I
Yes.
think we get it. The big finish. Trump tells Woodward, I don't want to throw the world into a frenzy.
He's already thrown it into a frenzy as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I feel like it's Dorothy, we're in Kansas, and we're not going back.
Yeah, and if this is true, and it's not, but if it is, then that makes Trump 1 for 1 million in successfully not throwing the world into a frenzy over the words and actions. Good job, dude, I guess. Good job. The big finish. You can now own, John, are you ready for this? You could do this at Wilton Manors Group. You can now own a .gay website domain.
Well, that's actually a good thing. I mean, maybe we could do that. I have another group that we actually have a website for from one of the groups, so maybe we'll do that for the Wilton Manors Group. I know Gio, the one who started the Wilton Manors Group, said
Wait,
he was...
can I ask you,
Sure.
You're gay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. just asking.
But Gio, the one who started the group, was thinking about doing a website anyway, so now that gives us a little bit of extra reason to do it.
A little extra oomph. Okay.
I've already bought a whole bunch of those domain names, and I have one called alferguson.gay that I'm willing to sell for quite a lot of money.
Oh my God. Oh my God. All right. Great.
Yes, you called?
Just what gay people need. Another thing to put their name on, which is what Ty has just said, and then regret it 6 months later, which is what I just said. All right, the big finish. All right, Ty and John have no idea what I'm getting ready to talk about. Football returns. Wait, what are we talking about, guys?
Wow, if football players looked like that, I'd probably watch it.
Oh, wow. I'm a huge college football fan, so I'm hoping that my Penn State Nittany Lions get to have some semblance of a season. But I just can't imagine watching these sports with empty stadiums. I watched a little bit of the American Open the other day, and there was no one in the arena. It was kind of sad.
First off, we're in South Florida, dude, and for you to mention Penn State, do you remember Penn State, University of Miami, and that poster where they were standing on the dead bodies of the University of Miami players after they beat them for the national championship, and we never forgave you ever again, and who cares anything about Altoona or Pennsylvania? And also, by the way, you delivered the election to the president in 2018.
Well, we still won the game.
Okay, you did that. I think football players wear too many clothes, although they sweat in just the right amount. And I can't wait to watch football again. However, I am really impressed that John and Ty knew anything about football. Unusual for gay boys. The big finish. Far-right Norwegian politician nominates Trump for, wait, this is a joke, right? The Nobel Peace Prize?
Piece of what? Piece of a new wig?
I mean, really? Has the world gone crazy along with the United States? I just can't with this.
You know, this is the trouble when you get all of these intellectual professor types getting in a... Oh, wait, hold on, never mind. Who are we kidding? It's 2020. Trump is going to win the damn thing. By hook or by crook, he's won. Surrender.
He'll have the announcement out tomorrow.
Yes, exactly. The big finish. LGBTQ America already knew. This is a lovely story. A new study proves dogs' heart rates increase by 46% when the owner says, "I love you."
Wow.
Oh,
Are those dogs?
Those dogs
would.
The dogs we're talking about.
Hi, puppies.
Got it. Yeah. John, a big dog fan, are you?
I love dogs, yeah. I'm a big fan of dogs. Grew up with, my family used to breed some Boston Terriers and stuff like that.
Oh, you're talking about dogs.
Dogs, yeah, not that type of dogs.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm a fan of dogs.
And Todd?
I'm a fan of both kind of dogs, so that needs to go out there. But I have a bit. I'm gonna maybe make some people angry here. I have a problem with anthropomorphizing and giving human emotions to animals. I don't think that they have the same depth of emotion that we do. I'm not saying they don't have emotion. I'm just saying they don't have our emotions.
See, America, this is exactly why Donald Trump is going to win the Nobel Peace Prize. It's a group of those kind of people in a room that says, let's give it to him. Yeah. I like this. I really do. I like this. But what I really want to measure is the TWPH. And that is the technical term that you learn in Dr. Hauser's professorial class, tail wags per hour. That's what that's called, and that's what really lets you know that they are happy. However, I'll let you in on a little secret. I'm a cat person.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ community on the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Remember, if it's important to the LGBT community, it's important to Queer News Tonight. But you gotta help us. Click subscribe on YouTube and share this news.
We are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. This is the only source of live LGBTQ news in the entire world, and your community needs your support.
You are not alone. We will get through this crisis.
We're here with you, and this is Queer News Tonight.
So thank you, America, for joining us. I'm Al Ferguson, and on behalf of Dr. Ty Hauser and our guest anchor, John Romano. John, did you enjoy yourself?
Yes, I did. Thank you very much.
I'm curious, John, representing the Wilton Manors Facebook group, who did a better job anchoring with you tonight, Ty or Al?
I got $20 that says I know the answer.
I guess I can't answer that one then.
No. Oh. Well, that's it, America. And we will see you daily at 7 p.m. Good night, America.
Good night.